are those who are wielding guns, protecting the politicians. So they know them very well. So when they stage coup, in most cases, they will say they are doing it to save the country. None of them is different, too. Sure, you get, whether military or civil, they are all criminals and crook. One is with guns. The other one is what? Is with pen. Now, when the whole story in Niger Republic was that as rich in mineral resources as that country is, it is also as poor as the church rats. The people are living in squalor, poverty, while the elite are living large, like in opulence. So this disparity, this difference in the society is like, physically, present, like you could tell. However, somehow, there is more. There is always more. Okay? So what is more? The resources of Niger Republic. Imagine this. So Niger Republic is exporting uranium and gold, which is superseded, also being supervised by France for years, even though it's in an independent country, Niger. But the arrangement between the colonial master and the colonized, the puppet in the Niger Republic, was that France was taking as much as 70% value of Niger Republic resources. What happened to the remaining 30%? Well, it goes to the elite, those ones who never complained about it in a way. So France, in return, would then give them handout, like, you know what I mean? So they said the resources leaving Niger Republic alone a year, raw materials. So if they were to be paid for that, they will be making over 50 billion US dollars from just exchanging resources alone, not even other things that comes with it. But Niger Republic resources is valued at $9 billion, which means they have been so squeezed and all that. But the elite had no problems with that. So the military guys, somehow, they found their friends in Burkina Faso, in Guinea, Conakry, in Mali. And then they were like, you know what? What's going on, guys? If we want to succeed in this, because we know that our own rulers here, they are puppets of the West. So being puppet of the West means the African leaders will continue to complain that the Western world is shortchanging Africa. The Western world is not respecting Africa. They will be saying all of that. But behind the scene, for them to keep power, they have to live off this West. As, their backer, like the guarantor, okay, do whatever you want. We'll do whatever we want as well. Okay? Just continue to lament, but you will not do anything about it. So they are like puppet that way. So the military were like, no, they are like, they've been puppet to the West for a while. So they discovered that there is a new puppet master in town. And guess what? Russia. So Russia, that is now, it's not just now, it's been a while, okay? But somehow, these new guys in Africa, especially West Africa, they are finding their ways into the cozy comfy of Putin in Russia. I'm not going to say it's completely bad, because if they have been puppet to the West, America, UK, France, and all these places for decades, and they have remained poor, right? So if they choose to go to another puppet master, who they believe that will treat them right with much respect, it is still from one puppet master to another. Sure, you get. None of this, in my own view, is in the interest of the Africans generally. It's about the power mongers. Where can they get security, safety? If they want to face America, if they want to deny France, who is going to protect them? Who can protect them? That kind of the play. Sure, you get. That is what is playing out currently in Africa, if you don't know yet. Right? And these guys found their way to the comfy of Russia. Okay? That if anything, if worse come to worse, Russia will not just give them arms and ammunition. Russia will even give them food, grains, and all that can help them buffer, because they are already poor. What kind of threat do you think the West is going to carry out on them that they are not already carrying out when they call themselves the friends of Africa? Do you get that drift? Eh? You are friend with America, you are friend with all these people, your resources have been exploited, right? You just talk about it. Africa is rich, but it's just the West. It's the neocolonialism and all of that stuff. Sure, you get they're already poor. So what can you do? We'll sanction them. We'll stop giving you aid. Fine. Don't come and take our resources anymore then. France, we don't want you in our country anymore. So this is kind of a new trend where they are the new power bloc. You can say military. There are civilians among them too. They are not just military. There are civilians too, driving straight to Russia. Now, they are now kind of feeling like they are having choices and the West can go and hang themselves. You know that in history of African leadership, whether it is democracy or dictatorship anywhere, you know the change of government in Africa, the involvement of the West, whether it's coup, whether it's revolution, or whether it is war, whether all these things, the involvement of the West in them, you know what I mean? It's not new. It's been like, so what is it going to be again? So that's like declaring war on your colonial masters. Tell them to go to hell. So the division right now, which is the purpose of this conversation tonight, ECOWAS, there is a body of countries in West Africa. So they call themselves the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Now you see in these countries, right, you have those who are Portuguese speaking, you have those who are like a French speaking, you have those who are English speaking in this part of West Africa. Now, based on their different colonial experience from their different colonial masters at the time, the ideology of balkanizing Africa, which came by to say, okay, you are Guinea, I am Nigerian, you are Ghanaian, you are South African, and the rest of that. And the same sense of you don't have to relate with yourself, kind of, that they always like a push at the time. One thing that the West always have on Africa and the African leaders and their governments from time immemorial is the compromise on them, because they are mostly very, very corrupt, deeply corrupt. And where do they keep all their loot? They keep them outside their countries. Most of them are kept in some of these Western countries or wherever else they are keeping their loot. You will still see the involvement of the West, their own agents, their own banks, and the rest of that involved in transferring the loot from the original countries. So this compromise is what always gives the Western countries like America and UK the audacity to always threaten Africa with sanctions. Sanctions like, oh, we'll make you a pariah state. Nobody's going to give you money. Nobody's going to come and trade with you. But it's all lies, compromise. And because of this compromise, they always have their puppets and they always keep them in power. You will see fraudulent elections. You will see African leaders changing the constitution because they want to perpetuate themselves in power. And the West, whenever you see them visit any part of this Western country that talk about democracy, they always roll out red carpet for these same dictators until they feel like somebody else is taking the deal that they are taking from his country. Then they will turn against him. And it has always been like that. So in this case, for this West African, especially French-speaking West African countries like Mali and then Burkina Faso and Niger Republic, of course, they are saying to hell with the West. We are already poor. What can you do? What's the worst you can do? Then they turned east. Abi, where is Russia? We can say east, Abi. They looked up to the east. So with the assurance from Russia that if it comes to anybody coming after you, we will protect you. Whatever the deal is under the table, nobody knows. But the one on the surface is that Russia to the rescue, to hell with the West. We can change our government. We can kick out all of our puppet African presidents who are loyal to the West, kick them out, and we will take charge and we'll be loyal to the Russia. You see that? And for those of you who know that, in the last 1.5 years, or almost 2 years now, you see this Russia versus Ukraine versus, you know what I mean, NATO and all that. It has always been proxy war. That somehow, I have said it. I said this earlier this year. I said the proxy war that you are seeing in Russia, Ukraine, and the rest, right? You are going to finally see it in Africa. And it seems they found their ally, Escobar, Kolu, Jaga bandits, Jaga addicts, Jaga wèrè, aṣíwájú àwọn olè, aṣíwájú àwọn pickpockets, aṣíwájú àwọn chancers. They found him. The Chicago trainee, or should we say Chicago trained Pablo Escobar. So, is the chairman of ECOWAS. As chairman of ECOWAS, Nigeria as the chair of ECOWAS.